that our very first guest tonight is a person who understands both the sadness, the frustrations and the triumphs more than any other, and I wonder if you know whose voice this is.
Malvina, remember when we were all in pink and so happy, you sang, "This is my lovely day," on your wedding day, and I'll never forget it.
My chief bridesmaid.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dame Kiri Te Kanawa.
She's not here. She is! What a brat. You're not part of this. You're naughty girl. I don't believe it. So she does come to New Zealand occasionally.
Well, she has. She's been relaxing for a few days.
Just a minute.
Yes, you're a long way away. Can you sit a little bit in there? I think be there nicer. I'm not being, please don't, you know. But not again. Here we go again. Because you've been resting for a few days. Yes?
A little bit of jet lag, yes.
I guess so. St Mary's Convent. And you'd been there already a couple of years, hadn't you? You'd been being taught by Sister Mary Leo before Malvina arrived. And so you were well used to the place, I suppose. A
little bit, yeah.
A strict sort of a regime, was it?
Horrendous. I mean, I don't know if you were, but I was terrified of her. And I think that's a lot of that sort of thing happens with singers and singing teachers. They sort of frighten you into singing.
Yeah, my mother said to her, "You won't change Malvina's voice, will you, sister?" And I felt so sad about that. I thought, "Mum, you shouldn't speak to a lady like that." So I was all right with it.
Yeah.
I spent the rest of the year sort of trying to mend my mother's words.
Disasters.
Yes.
Yeah, how long were you actually with Sister Mary Leo? A long time?
Not as long as everyone thinks. I literally went there at age about 15 and I moved out age 21. So it was a very short time, unfortunately, but it was the way it was.
Yeah, I was there 4 years.
I don't know if you heard the music. I don't know if you heard the music, Malvina, when Dame Kiri came on. But it was from a special night in 1963. And I wonder if you remember that night. It was the night of the Mobile Song Quest
in Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. And
Great night.
Was.
And you won that night.
The sun is
That's me.
shining.
Oh, that's you.
Welcome the day. Hey, look, come to the
So, what do you remember of the night? Tell me, talk about that night, because...
I remember that it was a great lineup of artists. There was a man, I don't remember his name, but I remember he was a dentist and he had a great smile. Do you remember? He had lots and lots and lots of teeth, and he came from Dunedin.
She'd have lots of teeth.
And he did, and he sang marvellously. And I know that I thought he would get somewhere, I thought Kiri would get somewhere, and I thought Rodney McCann would get somewhere. I can remember being totally surprised. I thought I might get third. So I was totally knocked off my pins.
It was the most wonderful night because, as far as I'm concerned, everyone was wonderful. And yes. I actually came second, and I thought I was terrific. Yes. But you also came first, so what was wrong with that? I couldn't see a problem with it. Yes. I thought, that's great, but guess what? I came second, and, and I was more excited.
There was a great family feel about
it.
It
didn't actually matter who came first, and so what?
No.
It really was wonderful.
Very well looked after by the people
They read them out
it.
third, second, and this first. 1963.
This can make it better, see.
And you won that night.
God.
Was there a great deal of rivalry between you? I mean, has there been rivalry over the years?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
There's been rivalry in camps. There's been a Malvina camp and a Kiri camp.
Yeah, but I think that was brought about not by us. It was brought about by people that followed us, or wanted you to do well, or wanted me to do well, including our own parents.
But including ourselves, I was never more pleased for Malvina than she could have been for herself, for her own successes. I mean, look what she did. She gave up a whole life of a career to have a family, a wonderful family, and it's a great. I think it's a wonderful thing that a woman should do this with so much talent and so much missed out on the international opera stage.
Were you amazed actually that Malvina made that decision?
I was astounded. I don't know how she did actually. But you did, and you stuck with it, and it's been wonderful, But I think a lot of other people missed out. We each take our own destiny, and we took it. You took yours, I took mine. But I admire you incredibly for what you did.
Should you have stayed?
I don't know what to say.
No, I think it was a massive decision for a woman with so much talent to have to actually take that step and say, yes, my husband, I will go back and be a Taranaki farmer. I don't think I could have done that. In fact, I think I wouldn't have.
In your teens, when you were with Sister Mary Leo, did you necessarily both want to do opera? I mean, did you want to rebel a bit?
I didn't. I know. As was said earlier, I was brought up with a family of country singers who had ukuleles and banjos and piano accordions and drums, and we had a little band of our own. I mean, we were singers who did everything that was of that day. But opera was my mother's wish, and I didn't know anything about opera, and all I'd ever heard were these terrible, women that
Screamers.
sang, in the competitions that didn't sang things they shouldn't have been singing. And when I went to Sister Leo, I can remember saying to her, I don't really know that I like this. And she said, well, maybe you don't understand it, so perhaps we better start at the beginning and we'll talk about it and learn languages. I mean, I grew into opera. I grew to love it. And I also found out that I loved acting. And so that became a really big, important part of it. But my ambition, had I been left on my own, or my father had directed my life, I would have gone to Broadway. I would have gone to New York, and I would have been song and dance. I would love to dance. And in fact, this is the first opera. I'm in Eugene Onegin in Christchurch. I'm not dancing. Can you believe that? The first time I've been in an opera or anything on the stage where I haven't danced. I'm feeling totally out of it.
Make them put a dance in. There's a couple there.
You followed. If I can interrupt, if I
Please do.
dare to interrupt, but if I can follow.
It is her show, though. You do realise
I do understand
it, don't
this.
you? Yes. For the night, at least.
To understand.
Yes.
You followed up the Mobile Song Quest with a victory in the Melbourne Sun Aria contest. This was 1964, and from that you won a scholarship to the London Opera Centre. So off you went to London. This is early 1965. You went with Winston, and of course a year later you went up. Was it?
And Copycat did the same thing.
You went up to London to the same thing, but you didn't actually see much of each other in London, I understand.
Well, we were at the Opera Centre together for a little while, but unless you were in something, unless you were working on the stage, we did Le Roi Ladi together, and I think we did...
was it flute or something?
The magic flute.
Yeah.
And unless you were doing something like that together, you didn't see a lot of each other. You sort of saw each other in the canteen. Or...
It's the same even today. If you're in an opera together, you're best buddies, but if you're not, you go your separate ways. But you are all friends in the opera because you're all doing the same job.
But it was a wonderful day at the wedding, and Malvina sang beautifully at the wedding. You stood up. Kiri remembers that.
Yes, I did.
Yes, very brave.
These are some of your friends, Dame Malvina, coming to the wedding, I think. And that is the...
Sister Leo.
It's the Mobile Song Quest.
Who's that?
That's the Mayor of Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a very fine gentleman, I'm sure.
No, not the present day Mayor.
No.
An older one.
I was not a gentleman, of course, because she's a lady.
Glad those hairstyles have gone out.
Yes, I'll say.
And there's the chief bridesmaid on the right there.
Yes.
Wonderful, the wedding. When was the wedding? What year was the wedding?
65, I think.
1965.
64,
Yeah,
I think. Yes.
You've sung
64,
together,
yes.
actually, only once since I understand, at the 1990 Royal New Zealand Gala performance
In London.
at Covent Garden.
That was right. That was a lovely evening.
Well, we were such worlds apart, Red, white and blue.
There's an interesting thing about this dress, Kiri.
Yes, it's a Mobile Song Quest.
It's the Mobile Song Quest dress. It is the Mobile Song Quest dress.
A few years on.
Oh, Rodney, there's Rodney.
There's Rodney, yes. You see, that year, 1963, so many of those singers went on, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
They really made a name for themselves.
Well, it was not just Dame Malvina Major's beautiful voice that caused a whole nation to fall in love with her. This is a story far deeper, far more complicated than that. This is a story with more twists and turns than most of us will experience in a lifetime. So we'll be back shortly with Dame Malvina Major.